This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. Before I get into this video, I just want to let everybody know my backup channel has been approved. I might do a separate video on it, but it just happened. So I want to let everybody know my backup channel, Uprising Revival, has been approved. If you like this content, please pause the video now and subscribe to that channel. In the event I get a strike, that's where I'll be uploading. And of course, this channel will be removed at some point, and that's what I'm going to get into with this video because it's about a similar topic. So that's where you'll find my content again, Uprising Revival. It is linked below. And of course, uprisingrevival.com is my website for those of you that don't know. Exclusive, uncensored content over there. It's $2.99 a month. You will find a lot of information over there, more than you'll find anywhere on the internet. The forum is filled with tons of information that people are sharing. They're sharing things they're seeing, other videos that they like and see. Other information that they're finding out on their own from their research, and of course things that are actually happening in their own town where they can show you, even if it's a Freemason lodge, an event they're having, or things that people are seeing in the stores being sold and targeted towards kids, satanic symbols, etc. So that's all on the website, as well as exclusive content, especially in the wake of what's coming this fall. That topic about the outbreak is going to be something I'm talking about heavily over there because this is the last wave that's going to hit, and a lot of people are going to fall. Well, you know what's going to happen. So, and of course, they're going to line up. I shouldn't say fall for you know what. So that's available over on the website, uprisingrevival.com. It's linked below. It is uncensored, and it is definitely a place that people need to be to network and to stay in touch with one another and share information. So this topic's very interesting that this is supported, of course, by the World Economic Forum, isn't it? The World Economic Forum is posting about the EU's new online safety bill. Well, of course they are. And they're calling it a first-of-a-kind regulatory toolbox for online platforms. And you're going to see this deceit used over and over about child safety. This is about child safety. And the Republicans and the Democrats are on board, of course, because anything they agree on, you know, is about, well, taking away our rights and censoring us, because if they actually agree on something, that means it's a globalist agenda. And they both are globalists. So they're using this to obviously restrict people like me and you from speaking, from whether you're posting on your Facebook account or your Instagram account or wherever you might post, or even your YouTube channel, or for me specifically here on YouTube. They want to be able to censor that and wipe it off the internet without having to even blink. And this is giving them a law and a rule in place that will wipe off misinformation. But how are they getting away with this when we sit here and we go, wait, they don't have a right to take away our free speech? They're using it in the name of children. Of course they are. The one thing they hate more than anything, which is children, they're using them as a pawn to get their agenda pushed. So they're saying that this is a child safety bill to reshape the internet for everyone. And of course, the conservatives are coming out, and so are the liberals, and they're talking about how they want to end pornography on the internet, or being harder to get it for kids. And of course, we all agree that that should be removed and kids shouldn't be able to look at that, right? But that's not what this is about. You see, these are loose ends that they use. These are measures that they use to manipulate, right? It's the same thing as hate speech, right? Once it was considered hate crimes, and you'd say, well, what in the world is that? And they'd say it's a crime motivated by hate. And you'd say, well, isn't most crime motivated by hate? I mean, isn't that common sense? Let's think about that, really. And you said, okay, right. Well, this is to protect a specific group, right? How come we never hear hate crimes against Christians when Christians are targeted? They're like, well, that's not true. They're not a hated group. They decide which groups are hated so they can protect those groups, right? And we know exactly which group they want to protect the most. They love cream cheese. I'll just put it that way. And then, of course, we've seen how that's gone now with the LGBT agenda, right? What has happened has gotten so out of control. First, it was crimes targeted against specific people, right? Then it was speech. So then if you disagree, instead of saying, like, there were certain words they decided were bad, you can call somebody who loved, let's just say the Hershey Highway, you couldn't say something that would offend them. But originally it was like a certain word, right? Began with an F and ended with a G. And if you said that, it would be considered hate speech. You'd be, removed, now fined in certain places. Then it became, well, if you disagree with their lifestyle, that's also hateful. And now in 2023, that has escalated to the point where if you disagree with people wanting to castrate children at the age of 5 or them being allowed to pick their gender, that is hate speech and a hate crime, and the kids could actually be removed from your home. So that's how these laws start to escalate into the removal of freedoms. And what you're seeing with this is them pretending that they're doing this to combat misinformation and to protect children. So, of course, everybody's on board, right? These are the same people who want to castrate children, but they want to protect children because they don't want children to wake up to what's going on. You know how the children are suffering from mental health issues and depression right now? and they don't realize why, and they don't realize it's because of these psychopaths who are telling them all these crazy things about themselves and convincing them that there's something that they're not. Okay? Well, they don't want those kids to get wind of what's actually happening. And that means people like you and me actually having voices. So we're labeled disinformation so they can protect the kids. And what they're protecting them from isn't pornography. They're protecting them from the truth. And they're protecting them from waking up from this deep slumber that they're in. So, of course, they're passing bills like this one. And this, of course, I have covered it in the past, the big tech, the EU Digital Services Act. And I'll show you first what this thing is. And of course, you could see for yourself just how manipulative they are.
The world's largest digital companies have nowhere to hide, as sweeping new rules cracking down on tech giants come into play. The EU's Digital Service Act is taking the internet by storm, marking the toughest regulation since social media burst onto screens.
The DSA is here to protect free speech against arbitrary decisions, and at the same time to protect our citizens and democracies against illegal content.
If you're watching in Europe and own a smartphone, which probably applies to everyone, then you're going to start noticing changes over the next few months with new safety, verification and consent features. The DSA will force companies with over 45 million monthly users like Google, YouTube and Instagram to clean up its act in terms of its content moderation, user privacy and transparency. But this laundry list is still unclear over free speech. Most large platforms already remove lawful but awful content, but the lines are blurry for keyboard warriors on X, for instance. But even billionaire Elon Musk, who took over the Twitter platform last year and immediately butted heads with the EU over content, is agreeing to comply. While there's nothing new about sifting out fake news and tackling hate speech, hefty fines and punishments may help. Any firm found in breach could face a fine worth up to 6% of its global turnover and could be banned altogether. All eyes will now be on how platforms stick to the rules, with experts predicting the DSA could spark change beyond the bloc.
I personally consider the Digital Service Act to be an overdue step, and it is to be welcomed that the European Union has succeeded in reaching a workable agreement on this really highly controversial, discussed political issue and implementing it in a timely manner. And the DSA will certainly not be the last digital regulation of its kind, and will also have a spillover effect on many other countries around the world.
The EU is yet again placing a magnifying glass over the World Wide Web, but with its rate of expansion spiralling out of control, the DSA isn't the first and won't be the last we hear of online safety. Shadia Edwards-Dashti, TRT World.
So does it surprise anybody that posted on Instagram just recently? The World Economic Forum is saying that this is a first-of-a-kind regulatory toolbox, and they put in a little video where they're telling you how much they care about children, how much they want to protect kids from depression, mental health problems, and of course getting real misinformation, because God forbid these kids wake up and realize they're being put under complete mind control with propaganda, which all ties back to the communist regimes of the past that have destroyed society and civilization that the Democrats want back in place. And these people can't figure out why they're depressed. But here's Klaus Schwab and his friends promoting it. And of course, note the thing that I've always mentioned about the background music and how cheerful and wonderful it is. But in reality, this is the end of freedoms. This is the end of freedom on the internet. This is the end of free speech, because what they care about most and restricting most is us. And that's why I emphasize the website for now, while we still could do the website, because eventually that'll be taken down too. But for now, they're targeting big tech, because it starts there, just like I said earlier with hate speech and how it spreads down. Well, it starts with big tech, and then it goes, well, what about people who just want to watch this guy's content on his website, Uprising Revival? Well, eventually they'll say, well, that's still, no. All by opening the door with acts and bills like this, which is exactly what the Patriot Act and all these other things have done. But listen to the wonderful background music as they tell you they're going to strip you of your rights. course, the thing they care about most is making sure these kids are under their control. And what's ironic about it is that me personally, what I care about most is helping these kids wake up. And that's why I'm still here fighting. I'm a brand new YouTuber, but that's why I continue to do this, because I understand for some people who are awake, they like to hear me inform them about this stuff. Some people find it entertaining because I just talk like I'm talking to them on the phone. I'm not acting here. This isn't an act. Sometimes we can all laugh at this stuff because it's so insane, but I'm focusing on these teenagers because they're the target of this regime. And they're the ones that they want to protect, because they want to protect and nurture what they can hear and can't hear so that they have full control over them. So the World Economic Forum is peddling this, but so are Republicans and Democrats, saying that this is going to end porn and make it a lot harder to watch it in states like Texas, conservative states, right? Again, mind control methods. Instead of clicking a button or entering a date of birth to access Pornhub, I don't want to say the word and get the algorithm flag, but let's say adult sites, users will need to provide photos of their official government-issued ID. And that's the next leg of this. That's where this will probably end for me. Well, I'll probably figure a way around it. But they want you to issue your government-issued ID. And then this ties into the digital ID. The digital ID has to do with the mark. It has to do with everything. It's going to be a part of you. Okay, we know that they're going to do retina scans, but they're already going to be able to scan your body because it's going to be in your body. Everything's going to be inside of you. Okay, so they're going to have the internet regulated where people have to provide their government issued ID. That way, somebody like myself will have to either conform, right? Whether the initial ID is actually the mark or not, we'll see. But you have to conform, and then when you post stuff online, everything will be tracked. It's part of your carbon footprint. So everything you say will be monitored. People are like, oh, they're going to track me. Like, they're going to see what kind of stuff I'm looking at on the internet, whether it's conspiracy stuff or dirty, naughty stuff. Now, if they want to regulate and monitor what you're saying, what you're posting, and then arrest you for it, and also dox your credit card, dox your bank account, because these things will all be connected. So in other words, if you don't understand, your government-issued ID, right? So say you're me, and I have to put that in to be able to upload on YouTube. And then they hear my content. And they're getting to a point, obviously, where they're sick of people recreating accounts, and they're sick of people not being fully monitored. They want to be held accountable. And they know people, right now, all they could do is threaten you and be like, you're not allowed here. What are you doing here? Nobody cares, right? This will have the government's involvement where they say, hey, this person is posting this stuff. You're going to get fined. You heard that in the video. You're going to get fined. You're also going to have your travel restricted. That's what happens in China. And you're also going to have your bank account frozen. So if you upload or you post, it doesn't have to be a video. It could just be a thought. You could just comment, because I know a lot of you troll, whether you're trolling me or you troll other people, will comment and speak your mind. Well, what have we seen over the last year? People who are commenting are getting strikes on Facebook, on YouTube. They're getting taken down for commenting. So it's not even just the content. So that's exactly what the government issue ID is going to be for. So they say it's going to use a third-party service to verify their age, right? They could care less. They want 10-year-olds looking at that stuff, that dirty stuff online. They promote it. They have been for years. They didn't just suddenly grow a conscience, okay? They're the same ones telling you to castrate kids. So obviously this is about monitoring truth, monitoring what they'll call misinformation. And this is all going to spill into what they call misinformation. And monitoring who the people are who are saying it, and probably use a direct energy weapon on those people when they have them fully off of their VPN where they have to upload and be a part of it. But of course, there's going to be ways around it. They just think that people won't do it. But trust me, I know someone specifically who will get around it, come hell or high water. So the government-issued ID, they say it's the result of a new law passed earlier this summer intended to prevent kids from seeing this stuff online. This is the American version. I showed you what was going on in the EU. Okay, with misinformation and protecting of kids. It's the same thing here in America. But they know they can't get away with that in America, so they're using it this way because they're trying to lure in conservatives and Christians as well, because Christians, who wouldn't agree with this? But the whole existence of this porno stuff on the internet shouldn't be out there. Okay, obviously they're like, oh, we protect it because what do they put, an age barrier on it? Oh, like kids can't figure out to just lie and say they're a 50-year-old guy to get around it. What do you just click and put your age? I mean, just ridiculous stuff. They think, parents like in the past have been like, oh, that'll keep my kid off. I mean, give me a break. So obviously I would agree with not having that stuff on there. But the child safety bills is just like the Patriot Act. Right? Remember when the Patriot Act came out? What was the whole thing with the Patriot Act, if you don't remember? Right? The Patriot Act was, we're going to spy on all Americans because we need to know who's communicating with Osama bin Laden in the cave. And we need to see, because people are here in America, and we got to just be able, and everyone was on board because everyone was living in fear, right? This is the same exact thing. Because what has the Patriot Act turned into? It's turned into them, the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, monitoring everything we're saying, listening, monitoring, and having the right to do it. That's what it's about, having the right to do it because they're protected under their laws. They pass these bills silently, right? Not a lot of pomp and circumstance for this law, right? And then people who hear about it are going to be like, oh, it's a great thing, the child safety bill. It's to protect children. And the next thing you know, the loose ends start coming out. Oh, well, the so-and-so is listening to misinformation. Like, well, what's misinformation? Oh, so-and-so is saying not to take this. So-and-so is saying, don't take this because it's going to do that to you. Oh, right. Well, okay, we should start censoring that stuff, right? Oh, right. Okay, and then it just spills out where they have full control over the narrative on the internet because this is a problem that they're running into. This is part of the problem they've had over the last 10 years, is that they know people are obsessed with tech. They know that they want people to be obsessed with tech. They want people to be on the computer 24/7. They want people to take technology into their body. What's the other end of that, though? What's not been working for them? How many people have been waking up? Because back in the day when people used to have to go to churches or to other places and meet person to person, face to face to discuss this stuff that they would call conspiracy theory, which is really conspiracy fact, it wouldn't reach a lot of people. It would be a small amount of people. Now you hear these people. Now, a lot of these people aren't awake because they stay trapped in the left and right paradigm, but at least they still have a clue of what's going on. They have a clue about the potion. They have a clue about certain topics now. And that's because the internet has allowed that. So they need to make sure that the young kids out there can't find actual real information, that they stay inside their bubble, and that these people have full control over their lives and their thinking process. And that's where we are. That's why there's such a spike in the mental health problems. Okay? It's not just because of the towers, the 5G towers. It's not just because of the technology that's out there. It's because of the full control that these people have over what people are perceiving as truth and they're perceiving as fiction. These people are using it to fully trick them, and now these people don't know what they are. They don't know what they like. They don't know if they should, a boy doesn't know if he should wear, a 20-year-old guy doesn't know if he should be going to work at lipstick and a dress. I mean, it's insanity, right? And this is done by design. This is the type of control they want over you. And people don't realize why the mental health problems they keep promoting are, out there, because people are just so confused. So Republicans and Democrats are backing age-gating bills. For some lawmakers, it's an extension of a years-long fight against big tech, a way to rein in the alleged harmful effects of social networks on youth. For others, it's part of a much broader culture war. Conservative state houses and school districts have recently altered public school curriculums and banned books predominantly written by and about people of color or LG people, and this is all obviously fabrication. Online child protection bills are a new weapon in the fight. It's a weapon against this, what I talk about on this channel. It's a weapon against you, the listener of this channel. That's what it's for. It's never going to be about protecting anybody but themselves and protecting speech for them and restricting it for us, because they need to have control. And the only way they can continue to keep control is to have control of the information. And as long as they're feeding you misinformation and lies, and people like me are silenced, then they will have control. But in the meantime, we have to break people from the spell that they're under. And that's why I continue to do this stuff. So is it a surprise that Claus and his buddies are the ones who are promoting this? Is it a surprise that they're calling it a first of a kind toolbox? Oh, it's a toolbox. Well, these people are a bunch of tools. There's no doubt about that, and douchebags. But it's not a toolbox. What it is really is a prison cell. It's a prison cell for information and speech. That's what it is. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about the Democrats. They don't care about Republicans. They look at us all the same as people who need to be herded to the slaughterhouse. And that's what they're doing. And the youth out there, they don't care about you at all. They hate you more than anything. They want to control and manipulate you. All you have to do is go back and look at communist propaganda from the 50s and 60s. I've put it up plenty of times. Obviously, it's all scrubbed. I'd give you the link below to the video, but it's no longer on here. Maybe I'll re-upload it. But you can find it for yourself. It's all over the place. They always target the youth because they're easy brains to mold. And look at now in today's world, 20-year-olds could still be molded because they're so stupid. They have no thought process whatsoever. They just repeat everything that they hear. I thank everybody for being here. Again, a reminder, a way to avoid censorship is to subscribe to my backup channels. They are linked below, both of them. Make sure you're there and subbed, and please check out the website, uprisingrevival.com. It's very important that people get over there at the very least. Go over there and click on free videos and subscribe there. That way I'll have your email. We can stay in touch as crap hits the fan. I will also be able to reach out to you and let you know where I'm uploading in the event that I'm gone. So do that as well, but I highly recommend you join the website for $2.99 a month. It's less than a gallon of gas for a month's worth of content, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's constantly updated. There's always new information. It's not like it's just a forum where no one's active. It's very active. There's a lot of different topics that'll interest you. And again, I have exclusive, uncensored content over there. So thanks everybody who is here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless all of you as always and your families.